And welcome back to episode 23 of the Hooked On NRL SuperCoach podcast. I'm your host, Sol, and I'm joined by the co-host, Fish. How are you, Fish?
Yeah, good mate. Good round of footy on the weekend. We're finally on the run home now, so it should be good. We're really only got to talk about because trades, I know for both of us are running very low. The potty might just turn into sit start sort of for the week with our trades running so low. So yeah, it's good to be on the home straight now. So yeah, mate, keen to get stuck into it.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Finally out of the bye period, and we can look on to sort of the run home. I guess, yeah, what you touched on there with trades. Coming late into the season, trades are invaluable. So you've got to be very careful if you're someone like Fish and I, who are, I think you've got four and I've got six trades left. So very running it very thin. Um, it's going to be less so about it's you're going to be a bit more tactical. So this podcast will be less so about trade-ins as such, but it'll be more so about sit v starts for the week and also like when it is worth burning a trade. So um, we'll be providing content to those that are like in a bit of a 50-50 call really on whether to use a trade given how much they have. Because you can't really make those luxury moves that you could early in the season, can you? So we yeah, we'll try and make it a shorter potty today and just smash out the content that we have for you guys. Quickly touch on TLT and tips, and then basically just do a recap of the week to start off, and we'll finish off with our sort of week going forward, and give our sort of recommendations to you guys and what we think as a whole.
Yeah, mate, that's it. And yeah, as you touched on, I think now really comes the point in the season where you got to decide if you're head to head or overall. If you haven't decided yet, you got to decide because trades are then down to what your strategy is. If your strategy is head to head and you're sitting comfortably in the top four or the top two sort of thing, then you're fine to hold trades. But if you're someone who's just out of the eight or on the verge of the eight, who's got a bunch of trades and a couple tough matchups, it's a good idea then to use those trades and try and get into those matchups. So yeah, very sort of team dependent and strategy dependent as we come on the run home. But yeah, it'll just be both of us sort of focusing on overall kind of getting the best rank we can. So that's sort of our focus. But it also helps in head to head because our opinion will be who will score more this week sort of thing. So yeah. Kicking off last week, mate, how did you go?
Yeah, it didn't go too bad. I think, I only gained 96 ranks, but I'm back into the top 500 now. I think the highest I've been this season was like around the 350 mark. So yeah, it's good to, I've gained ranks over the bye period, which I'll take. Gained about 400, 300 to 400 ranks over the entire bye period. So if you told me that at the start of the bye period, I would have taken it. So happy that it's over now, and yeah, looking forward to this next stage. But going on to my side, I guess. We'll start from the top because that's where you have it there. Yeah, I bought in Watson. Watson was a popular trade in. I bought in Watson for um, Riley Smith. And then my other trade, as you can see, where is he? We'll get to it, but it was
Yeah,
Hubner
do the
down
top
to
two.
Mulatalo. So basically, getting rid of Riley Smith and Hubner, I wanted to sort of shore up my, I guess, dead wood in the side. I didn't want to be carrying so much. And obviously, Watson is one of the premium hooker option, so I opted for him. And yeah, not too shabby. 56 coming off Origin, no attacking stats. He didn't run the ball though. So yeah, hopefully he does a bit more of that and maybe gets a bit of a stint in the middle playing in lock, where I think he's better for Supercoach. But yeah, happy with that and happy to pick and stick with him for the year. May was a bit underwhelming with only 57 points. And as you can see, I had no front rower last week. I actually played with 17 men, unfortunately, given the news to Pappenhausen being a late scratching in the week. And obviously, it was a bit of a tough week last week with so many on the bye, such as Tarpany and Kalol Matangi. But yeah, we'll move on to second row. Eli Katoa, after a couple of weeks ago, mate, you said that he was a bit underwhelming. He sort of picked up his game 2 tons in the last 3 weeks. 108, awesome to see, and yeah, hopefully he can sort of build on that form. He is probably the best second rower you can have, him or Hudson Young. So yeah, he's definitely a set and forget for the year. Nikora, this guy has just been phenomenal since I brought him in. Bought him in at his cheapest price he's been all year at 490k, and he's now 670k, and I think he's turned up twice, got an 84 in three of the four games I've had him. So couldn't be happier with him. Shark Store looks immense. He looks a lot better. His base is picked up. So yeah, he's definitely a hold for me for the rest of the season. He's very good and not too highly owned either, which is positive. Dylan Lucas, unfortunately, the news with him, obviously, he is out for the season now, unfortunately. So he's a trade out at some point. Doesn't have to be this week if you can cover him. And then Tino, good to see him back on deck as well, with 70 points, only playing 49 minutes, and he looked a lot more like himself too. So he's someone that I'll definitely be holding, and yeah, hopefully build up on the minutes. But the quality that he played at last week was very positive and looked like he's gotten over that sternum injury. I'll quickly battle off these guys. Cleary and Hughes, very solid. Burton, solid enough with the goal kicking. And then Herbie just does it every week. Same as Lomax, really. These two are just so good. And Karaz, I captained Karaz, unfortunately, for 53. He was my third lowest scoring player. I captained him, so I was very surprised that, with Karaz captain and without Hines, who went ballistic, which I'm sure we'll get to, I still saw green arrows given, Hines' ownership and also Carrara's getting such a, 31 point lower than Teddy, who was very highly captain as well. So I take that every day. Yeah, haven't been picking the captaincies too well lately, but yeah, definitely take still being in the top 500. Can't get it all right all the time. Ronaldo, as I touched on, I brought him in. I really like the draw, despite his high break even, and I'm yeah just going to play him on matchup. I like him as a player and a winger, and yeah, when the Sharks are popping off and humming, I think he's someone that can benefit from that, which is the reason for the purchase, as well as obviously his price, which I think is value. 54 with no try for him is pretty good, or no try assist either. Now getting to the good parts. Tupo. I went Tupo over Mark 2 weeks ago, when everyone was jumping on Mark. I think Mark's like 75% owned in the top 1%, and Tupo's a huge pod. 99 points. Very, 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 very stoked with him as a pod. And yeah, hopefully, same as Ronnie, I'm going to play him on matchup, and I like the price he was at. So hopefully, he can deliver more of that, and I'll play him on matchup. Kane Bradley delivered as well with 64. Solid when I needed him in a week where I had 17 players. And then obviously Teddy and Drinky. Drinky a bit underwhelming, but against the Dogs you can forgive him. And Teddy was solid enough. So overall, mate, pretty happy with the week. Yeah, just wish I didn't go Karaz with the C, but can't be too mad with how everything played out.
Yeah, mate, I think you got to be happy, despite the fact you did captain Kraz. I just think the fact that he was your third lowest scorer and he got 53 is a good sign. Just for that lower end of your team is scoring about 50 odd. So yeah, if they keep doing that every week, I'm sure you'll just keep getting green arrows, mate. Over to me. I don't know how much I moved in the league, but I got 96. I'm back into the top 3K now. So highest I've been in a little bit. So good to see the momentum has continued and we've kept moving forward, which is good. And I scored a 1267 last week. So we'll get into my team now. Starting off, starting off the week. What an absolute great way to start the week with Brayley. I think I was probably one of only 20 owners when I brought him 10 weeks ago. And that is looking to turn into an absolute masterstroke. In the past sort of month, we've seen his running game really increase. And not only is he scoring well in Supercoach, but when he runs the footy, the Sharks just look and play so much better. I'm pretty sure when I was watching the game as well, Graham was throwing out a stat that when Brayley runs 5 or more times, the Sharks have an 80% win rate or something ridiculous, just showing how effective he really is at a
Mhm.
dummy half. So absolutely been loving what I've been seeing there with Brayley. Team
Definitely.
A, yeah, as you touched on there, bit of an unders week, but I think he's going to have, controversially, I know people aren't backing him in this week. I think he's going to have a really big game this week. Not only is he versing the Titans, but his brother's in the team as well. So I actually think he's on for a big week this week, and in a week that don't have very many standout options for captaincy, he is someone that I'm very interested in. AFB, yeah, he copped a knock again, has been very underwhelming since I've brought. And look, now he's just going to be a sort of depth player. I won't be playing him too much. He obviously also had the passing of his granddad last week, which wasn't really touched on by the media. But this week it's his 200th. So I kind of do want to play him this week. So we'll see what I do there. Obviously, the teams inside and team depth and structure is looking very strong now because there's only one team on a bye every week. So now is as we know, it's the run home. So it's all really about sit starts, which will come to the forefront really. Eli Katoa, yeah, he's been great since I've brought with all the tries. He got two on the weekend, needed that line break. That line break try was very good. Got him to that ton score. Connor Watson, 56, upgraded a fair bit nicely. I was happy with that. Not over the moon, but content. It's more so for the fact that I'll have that flexibility now with going in case Brayley goes down injured and for that round 25 bye that the Sharkies have. So just for that coverage there as well. Naf White 55 in about 50 minutes. He's just however many minutes he gets, he's a PPM beast. He just gets through work. Real leader of the Roosters pack, and I'm more than happy to hold him for the run home. Tino, as you mentioned, looks great, looks to have shaken off the sternum injury there. So he would be a buy. I know we're not really going to be touching too much on buys this week, but he is someone I would buy if I didn't have this week and I was selling someone like a Lucas. I think Lucas to Tino is a very good trade, especially if you got Lucas in your second row forward. You agree with that, mate?
Yeah, definitely.
Because I think Tino's only 550k now, so great price to get him because Lucas is 630. Yeah, so you make even 80k, 90k. So I
Yeah,
think that's a
100%.
yeah, good
In
trade
that
there.
price in that price range, it's really I think he's the best option. And then obviously you got like Angus Crichton, who people are flocking to as well, who doesn't look like his old self, but he's still a very solid option in my opinion too. But I think I would go Tino over anyone sort of in that 500 to 600 range
I
if I
agree
did
with you
have.
there. Yeah, agree with you there, mate. Kick out, a bit underwhelming, 42, but he had a cold going into the game and obviously just playing in Townsville packs a toll on the fitness of him. So I think he played about 60 odd minutes, 42 points. Yeah, not great, but good matchup this week. And he's going to be looking to someone that I sort of play on matchups on the run home. Onto the halfbacks, Nico Hines, 137. And wow, that's the best game I've seen play this year, I'm pretty sure. He's just running the ball now. We saw Brayley starting to run, and it's doing wonders for the Sharkies. I just hope Nico's continues this because running Nico Hines is lethal. And I honestly think if he starts running, this will be the start of plenty of good things on the run home, mate. What did you think of Hines' performance?
Yeah, Heinze was phenomenal. Couldn't really fault his game at all. He played unreal. It was just I guess that one missed tackle on Herbie was pretty bad. He got snapped in half with a sharp left foot step. But Herbie does that to anyone really, and he has been 100% the best attacking centre at least this year. So yeah, Hines was almost faultless on the weekend. Yeah, it's really hard that halfback spot, isn't it? With you got Cleary, you got Hines, and you got Hughes, who's also tearing it up, who I didn't touch on much. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all unfolds with both Hughes and Hines tearing up and tunning up on the weekend too. But yeah, can't yeah, I think Hines can definitely continue this form.
Yeah, and it'll be something we'll delve into later for my sort of trades, but LKT will be going at some point, and it's just who do I sort of go to? But obviously, everyone knows now Cleary hasn't been named and isn't going to be playing this weekend, so that's kind of thrown a spanner in the works there. But on to 5'8", so I obviously didn't have a 5'8" last week, so LKT was my AE, but it didn't matter because Karapani ended up dropping out. Oh no, sorry, it did matter because Karapani ended up dropping out. Yeah, so no 5'8", and yeah, as you mentioned, Herbie is just so good. He's been doing it all year. I can't believe people still don't own him. Like, what more can someone do to be like, oh, you got to get him? Like, he has just been playing. Yes, you mentioned you think he's the best attacking center this year. I think he's got to win. He's got to be close for even the Daily M. Like He has
Mm.
been so good for the Dolphins. I know Isaiah Katoa has been very good as well, but Herbie has been so good. And if I was the Perth Bears or whatever, I'd be very interested in paying him $1 million a year to play him fullback because I think he could play fullback, and I just think he would be so good at fullback.
Yeah, I think he's definitely a centre, 100%. Like I wouldn't move him from there, even though he would get more touches at fullback. It's just he lacks the sort of creativity, and then at centre as well, you get the one-on-one matchups. He's sort of like a Joey Manu mold where he can play there and just chew up meters and get offloads. But Joey Manu's not a better fullback than Tedesco, for example. Herbie would be a star there, but his best position is left center, and he just needs to get the ball. Really, he needs good, clean early ball, and he'll carve up. And I don't. Yeah, yeah, he's a star player and basically a lock for Dally M Center of the Year.
Yeah, well, just going off that, I don't mind that. What about Latrell then? Where do you say his best position is? I
Latrell's
say
different.
center, but he needs
Latrell's
his hands on the ball. So
no, not anymore. I think Latrell's better at fullback just because at least this year his he hasn't looked like the damaging ball carrier that we know and we saw of younger Latrell. He's been more creative. I don't know if that's due to like Cody Walker and stuff being down, but it's basically he's accumulating his super coach points and having the touches by delivering the last pass or cutting the ball out. But there's not many times this year, if any, where I've seen Latrell run through a defense and fend off three blokes like we're used to seeing him. So I think he's sort of come more into that fullback mold, and we sort of saw that a little bit in Origin where he's not stampeding or busting tackles and bumping off blokes like we sort of used to know him as. So I think it's a bit different now with this Latrell, at least. I think Latrell's best position is fullback.
yeah, and then just last one because we're doing this. What about Turbo?
Turbo's fullback, 100%.
I reckon he's
Like,
been playing really good as a sweeping sort of center. Like that game last week when it was for the Seagulls, whenever they last played, when he swept that left edge with Garrick on there, that was so lethal and so damaging. Obviously, I don't know why he just wasn't doing that at fullback this year. Maybe it is a confidence thing, but yeah, hopefully he can get back to his best and get to fullback soon then.
yeah, that's it. Like, I think the difference with those guys compared to Herbie is they've got the ball playing skills, whereas Herbie doesn't. Um, so that's why I think better they're better at fullback. Herbie struggles to pass from right to left, and he barely does. He's a bit of a ball hog. That's why I sort of compared him to Joey Manu, where he will just run and chew up meters, but he's not going to go and throw a big long cutout to his winger. Um, so that's why. Like obviously they're all quality players, but that's where I sit with those takes there.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh well, guys, let us know in the comments what your sort of opinions and takes on that are. And also a reminder, don't forget to like the video. We're still kicking on, round 20, only 8 weeks left, so we're on the home charge here. So let's get behind us. Let's get behind Sol. Let's cheer him on for a top 100, and let's embrace the community. Let's get the views back up. Let's get a bit of growth going. Um, yeah, well, for the rest of my team, Lucas obviously out now, so it looks like a sell for the season. Nick Meaney, this trade just keeps on giving. Pappenhausen out again this week, 61 on the weekend. He actually downed at it. I think he lost a line break or something. The Storm game just wasn't a very open, free-flowing game. And yeah, he didn't have the best game, but like 61 points is still great. He made what did he make? Probably he made
80K.
87K and he's got a negative 34 break even. So I brought him for what, 400K 2 weeks ago. He's now 600K with a negative 34 BE, about to playing fullback again this week, hopefully, about to explode as well. So he was also my VC last week. So I didn't loop. I was tempted on the Heinze and Herbie VC, but I just thought Nick Meaney with the pod factor because he was so lowly owned. That's sort of the route I wanted to go. Carapani, yeah, not ideal. That game was just didn't work for him. Ezra was shocking. The left edge didn't get any ball. The ball didn't sort of make it out to him. Whereas Kane Bradley, happy enough with that. Scored 2 tries to get to 64, so certainly someone I wouldn't be playing with confidence sort of week in,
No.
week out, but he fills a job when you sort of needed. And for this week, if people are VCing, I'm jumping a little bit ahead, but Herbie VC is a very no-brainer play this week. So if he does if he does go nuts, everyone sort of predicts and gets 100 plus and we all loop, Bradley might be the AE. And I know sort of for my team, depending on trades, he will be my AE. And in a decent sort of matchup, hopefully not too bad this week. Hopefully he can grab another try and a sort of 50 points. But yeah, Captain Teddy as well there. So all in all, I had a few good players, really good players in my team, but had a couple bad players and they weren't good at all. So it's just too many 30, 40, 50 sort of points in there and not enough sort of 70 to 80. But yeah, look, 4 trades now. Let's bring on the run home. I don't think I've ever been this low on trades before. I know I held 2 trades or 1 trade for the final round last year where I sort of put on a massive score there. So not sure how this season's sort of going to work out with 4 trades, but look, I'm not stopping anytime soon. I'm probably going to burn at least 1 trade, if not 2 trades this week on Lucas and possibly LKT. But yeah, we'll get onto that shortly, mate. We'll now move on to sort of our tips and stuff for the week. So if I
Sounds good,
can,
minute.
Jesus, it's massive.
Yeah, jeez, it was Zoom right in, aren't we?
There we go. And we'll kind of sort of give our opinion, touch on any talking points we want, and yeah, give our tip then as well. So kicking us off, mate, back to Thursday night footy. How good? We have the Dolphins and the Cows. Who's
Yeah,
your tip here? What are you thinking?
I'm actually on the cows here, but obviously with Clifford out, I'm sort of tempted, like I'm yeah second guessing myself, I guess, on the tip. But yeah, my initial thought was Cowboys. If they had Clifford, I would be a bit more confident in them getting up. But I think they do get the job done. Um, this weekend. I just think the Dolphins have suffered too many injuries, and it looks like to me on paper their team's sort of 3 players, a heavy reliance on 3 players. It's Hammer, it's Herbie, and it's Katoa. But they're not 3 bad. They're 3 players that are not too bad to rely on. Their quality, but I just think the Cowboys have a bit more quality across the park. You've got Dearden, Nanai, Cotter, Drinkwater, Talangi. So I'm tipping them to get up and get a bit of a revenge game after they got pumped in the second major bye, I think, against the Dolphins by 50 odd points. So I think Payton will have them up for this, especially he's that sort of coach where he will make the players remember. I remember when the Cowboys lost to your Tigers like by 72 points or something a couple of seasons ago. Payton put Tigers posters all over the sheds before they next played the Tigers, and then the Cowboys came out and pumped the Tigers by 70 points or something similar that game. So I think they'll be revved up and wanting to get revenge. So I'm on the Cowboys. Cheeky tip from me though, in SuperCoach. I don't have the trades to do it, but we spoke about him early on in the buy period. Jeremiah Nanai is now 500k, and I really do like him. At that price. I think you could definitely have a look into him. And yeah, that's all for me, mate, on that game.
Fair enough, mate. Don't mind the nano buy either. But in this game, I just can't go past the Dolphins. I do think the Cowboys have a better team on paper, but you can't coach effort. And the performance I saw from the Dolphins last week against the Sharks, without the hammer, without all their key guys, they only had Herbie and Katoa really. They've lost so many injuries, but despite all that, they just keep turning up every week, no matter who sort of fills the spot. And I was actually very impressed with the winger on debut last week for the Dolphins. So yeah, look, I think the Dolphins at home, they won't disappoint. Just the effort alone is what's going to win them for it. But I don't disagree. The Cowboys do need a win, and I think Payton might be out of a job come September. But yeah, I got the Dolphins in this one, mate. But I think it's a really good matchup for both Drinky and Herbie this game. So I don't mind either or as VC. And looking at the games this weekend, I think both of them are sort of very good, strong VC candidates there, mate.
That's it. Yeah, I agree. I actually, contrary to you, because I believe that the Cowboys will get up this weekend, I like the Drinky VC a bit more, and we know that he's locked into goal kicking with no Clifford there. Although stats show that without Clifford, Drinky does score a bit lower, but I do think, really do believe that the Cowboys will be up for it in this one.
Yeah, a bit low. I think it's like 20 lower. Purdue in the six. I don't know. It could be, well, Peyton's job's on the line, so it's a season defying decision, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I actually don't like looking at those odds. I can't believe those odds, honestly. As well, I thought it'd be a bit closer. But yeah, play on, I guess. Happy to
Yeah,
move on to the
well,
next one, mate. Yeah,
speaking
sorry.
of odds, the next game, we got the Sharks and the Roosters. Sharkies are heavy favourites. Not heavy favourites, but $1.70 favourites. What are your thoughts here, mate?
Yeah, $1.70 favourites. I think it would have been closer to even money if Townsend wasn't named for the Roosters. But yeah, I'm not sure what the Roosters are doing there, picking Townsend over Sandon. I think that's an utter joke. But obviously, Townsend. Trent Robinson knows more than us about footy. He's a great coach. Yeah, but I don't think Townsend. I've relayed this in the very early doors of the season as well. That he is not up to first grade, and I'm a firm believer that he's not up to first grade standard. He's terrible every time I watch him, and he has been for the past 2 years or so, at least. Yeah, I do not rate him as a halfback. Maybe what they're going for is a bit more of a steady hand. I guess, or a calming nature because Sandon and Sam Walker are both similar sort of players. They both have a running game. They're both small, I guess, and they're not too what's it called, experienced, I guess. They're both younger sort of players, but I'd much
Both
rather
left
see
edge
them
as
both
well.
play. What's that?
Both left edge.
Yeah, that's it. Like I don't know. Like there's no, and under no circumstance would I think pick Townsend, but I'm not going to rant about him anymore. I'm not a Roosters fan. I just like watching footy, but I hate watching him play. Um,
That's
so
it, mate. He's been doing too many podcasts, Townsend. Get off the podcast and focus on the footy. That's all he reckons.
yeah, do not rate him at all as a first grade player. Yeah, Sharks in this one for me, um, mainly based off that, honestly, and also they're at home too. I just think they got a um, Yeah, I just think they got a bit of momentum now after last week, as you said, AFB's 200 game as well. So Sharks for me, key talking points, not too not too many in this one. I wouldn't. I personally don't like the Tedesco VC or C option in this game. I do believe Sharks will win and Teddy will put up a solid score as he always does, but I don't like it. Yeah, I just am not a fan of the matchup in this one. But yeah, he can definitely go solid. And if I had Mark, I don't know. I don't have Mark. I've got Tupou. I'm probably not playing Tupou in this one either, and I would be a bit worried playing Mark if I had him up against Ronaldo, who's pretty good in there and a pretty good winger. Yeah, what are your thoughts there, mate? If you had Mark, would you play him?
Yeah, probably not. I agree. I agree. I just think Sharks are going to win. Fixtures breed form, and the Sharks got a really good run now. They had an awesome win last week. That was a really big win for their season, and I think, as you mentioned, they got that momentum now. They're going to roll on, as I've alluded to. AFB's 200th, so the lads will be up for it, I'm sure. I think the Sharkies they've got a point to prove and they're going to go try and prove it. And as you mentioned, with Townsend in the halves, I think the Sharks could just run up a score. I know we didn't quite get that score last week against the Dolphins, but that's because of the Dolphins' effort. That first half, I think it was only 6 or 12 nil. It could have very easily been 24
Way
nil. There were
more.
a couple of last passes that Ronnie just couldn't get to that just didn't work out for them that game. So yeah, if the Sharks are more clinical and the Roosters just aren't that good this well, especially with Townsend. I just think yeah, Sharkies will roll them, and yeah, I wouldn't be playing very many Roosters. Like you can play your forwards Roosters because it doesn't matter. It's just more so your backs, and yeah, definitely wouldn't be VCing or seeing Teddy this week. So yeah, Sharks for me in this one, and also a little bit tempted by a Heinz or Brayley VC.
Yeah, fair enough, mate. I don't think well, I don't know Hines, but I don't like that personally. In this one, I think it'll be a pretty um, close affair and not too high scoring. Like the Roosters are a pretty good side nonetheless. Still, but who knows? If Hines continues to form, he could put on a bit of a score. I've actually, just before we move on, I've got a case bet, or not a case bet, a 10-pack bet with one of our mates, Matt, that Ronaldo will outscore Mark Nawanawaituwaze this weekend in Supercoach. And yeah, I'm hoping I back the Sharks, and I think he will. Mark's not that strong defensively. And yeah, like I think hopefully Ronaldo can. I think he's due. He hasn't scored since round 12. We're in round 20 now. I think he's due a try in this one. So hopefully, like you said, they can pile on the points and Ronaldo can get crossed for one, two, three, four tries.
How good would that be? Yeah, I don't mind that. Let us know in the comments, guys. Who would you go for a case or a 10-pack bet? Marky or Ronnie? I probably would side with Ronnie and the Sharkies just because I'm big on the Sharkies, and I also just don't rate the Roosters too well with Chad. So yeah, I got Sharkies in that. But also, what a great 6 p.m. game on a Friday. Knock off work straight into that. Like, how
Hmm.
good, man. Into our 8 p.m. game on Friday night, we got the Panthers and the Bunnies. Obviously, the big talking point here, no Cles.
No
Thoughts?
Cleary, mate. Yep, huge news. I actually weirdly felt a bit of a sigh of relief. I've got Cleary. I'm owner of Cleary. And I've held him the whole time. But I sort of was a bit happy that he wasn't named because it makes everyone was trying to that didn't have him was trying to get on this weekend, and that was the plan. And it sort of put that in disarray for a lot of people. And I think Cleary is going to be really hard to get a hold of, and people are going to be tossing and turning about whether to move, and it just pushes it back 1 week later. I reckon freshen him up, give him the week off, comes back in, plays the Tigers and the Titans, and oh man, I'm keen as for those two games. So I'm very like weirdly, I'm quite relieved, and it makes my sit fee starts a bit easier too. Yeah, give him the week off, and yeah, I think yeah, people that if you're looking to buy. You're in a bit of a sticky situation now, depending on who you have, whether you can afford to wait another week or not. What are your thoughts there, mate? What are you doing? Are you fading Cleary or waiting another week? What do you think?
Yeah, that I'm not too sure on yet. I know for my sort of particular position, it's not really ideal, but I know a lot of the other Cleary owners are filthy, and a lot of them bought last week. So if you bought him last week and now he's not named, you'd be pretty filthy. But like the Heinz Hughes owners are just filling up. So I honestly think that might be the way to go. Cleary comes back. What even makes him a buy? Does he get the kicking? He's sure he's got two good games, but then he's got a really hard run home. Hughes has been killing it. Hines has been killing it. Both have pretty good matchups. So yeah, it's not as clear cut as I think it is. The kicking, I think, is really the biggest thing everyone will kind of want to know. And those with Hines and Hughes can probably just sit on their hands until they see Cleary come back fit. Like, is he even fit like 100% as well? No one really knows. It's been not quite as mysterious as the whole Pappy injury, but yeah, interesting to see how that goes there. So, still undecided. I'll have to make a decision to add that at some point. But for now, I am looking to just hold LKT another week and reassess next week there. But yeah, in this, I just still think the Panthers without Cleary will win. But geez, I hope the Bunnies can just get up for an upset. Like, I'm pretty
Hmm.
sure it was this game last time, Panthers Bunnies, that made me so keen on the Bunnies. They just showed up and it was a really, really
Yeah.
good game. So Latrell's back now, a couple of outs for the
Oh, it was a
Bunnies.
storm. They showed up against a storm, I think.
There,
Very
there
tough.
was definitely a few games for them like that we had that couple close
Yeah.
games. So I just hope they show something similar to that. And I bet now the Panthers are on the run home. They've got the momentum. They've won five, six straight now. So I think they're going to make a run for the top four and possibly get there as well. So yeah, I got the Panthers in this, but I would love a Bunnies upset.
I'm the same, mate. I got the Panthers in this. Just before I'm gonna carry on the Cleary chat just for a little bit longer. I we we saw how good like he hasn't had the kicking. And the last two games, I think he played last week off the bench and he got 82, and he played the week before. His previous game was against the Dogs in like a one single digit affair basically, and he got 80 plus again. That's both games without kicking. Next week, I
Both games
think
with tries though.
but it's
Scores
Cleary, and
like
I think
score like the old Cleary that scores, he tons goes 120, 150. He's scoring and he's only scoring 80. It's like
one game off the
when you
bench.
got Hines, he's scoring 140 with doubles, and Hughes is scoring tons on the weekend. So yeah,
Mm. Yeah, that's it. But I think that after that Origin loss as well, he's going to be hungry. He's going to be hungry, and he's got two huge matchups next week. And I personally think he's a must-have. I could not do the Tigers game into the Titans at 3 p.m. on a Sunday without Cleary. There's no way. And I reckon he comes back next weekend and kicks. That's my tip. There's no other way around it. But he's very lowly owned. I think he's like 13% in the top 1%. We see there Tigers, Titans, Knights. There's no way I would want to watch any three of those, especially if he takes back the T, which I think he will. I couldn't be any higher on him as a buy. I think those watches would be horrific. And I said it a couple of weeks ago. I'm huge on the Panthers and their run home, and yeah, they've sort of coming home with a wet sail, and I see them touching up all these sides. So for that reason as well, I'll just jump on the back of To'o, who I was huge on a couple of weeks ago, and still am huge on, and Edwards. I think they're both terrific buys this weekend, and two people that I'm heavily considering and probably very 50-50. I'll probably, if I am trading, it's those guys. That's how big I am on the Panthers and that run of games. I think they're going to towel up those teams.
yeah, fair enough, mate. I think they got an easy couple sort of 3 game stretch. Well, 4 game if they play this weekend. So like To'o, I don't mind as a sort of buy there because he's someone that's really is pod. Um, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds, but we'll see it in the coming weeks there. Moving on to are you happy with all that?
Yeah, happy with
Yeah.
that, mate.
Moving on to Saturday Raiders Eels. What are you thinking here, mate?
Raiders absolutely smashing. That's I don't know if much
Agreed.
more needs to be said. I'm not sure who goes ballistic this week. We saw that it was Weeks a couple of weeks ago. It could be Strange. You're strange, mate. Owner. It could be. I think a couple Raiders go nuts, but I can't guess which ones. You just never know because there's such a well-rounded side. Like it could be Fogarty getting his hands on it, Tomoko, Savage crossing for a few, Huddy
Buddy
Young, who's
Young.
very,
Yeah.
very popular trader and who I like this week, as a trader, and as many do. But I would tread with a bit of caution with that injury. I wouldn't mind just having a look as well, and seeing how he looks. But at the same time, the matchup's really good and a bit hard to pass up. And he is probably their primary attacking weapon, I would say, or if not, he's one of. And then obviously, for the Eels, not much interest here from them except for one superstar player, which is Lomax, who just keeps doing it. He's phenomenal. He's basing like 60. He's only had, I think, 3 tries this year, and he's averaging 76 points. Had like 4 line breaks and barely any attacking stats, and he's still averaging 76. So yeah, I expect much of the more of the same from him in this game. I'm not phased or worried about the matchup at all in terms of him scoring a try, just because his base is so good. Always busy and looking for an offload, looking for a run and looking to offload every run he has the goal kicking, and then Moses back in a couple of weeks will help that, especially with their shift of Dylan Brown out of the side and Josh Papali'i on the left edge. So I expect that right edge to see even more ball in moving weeks. So that's all for me in this one, mate.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Raiders just pump them, and there's been tinkers with the Strange you sort of see this weekend. I do think it's sort of the weekend where your KO Weeks, your Ethan Strangers do go nuts. We've seen Strange, he got 142 maybe a couple months ago now, but he's capable of it. And fun fact, actually, he has the highest tackle rate efficiency in the whole NRL. So your Herbies and your Teddies, who have heaps of tackle bust, they run at about a 45% tackle bust percentage, whereas guess what not KO Weeks, guess what
Ethan.
Ethan Strange's percentages?
Well, if you're saying 45%, I'm going to say 49.
60%.
Jeez,
60% of his runs he breaks tackles.
that's
He's
ridiculous.
so strong. He is so underestimated sort of thing. So yeah, I'm pretty big on Ethan Strange. I'm pumped to have him this weekend. But the thing is with the Raiders players, not only is it this weekend, it's their whole run home from now. Their
Hmm.
draw from here to the rest of the year, the season is so good. If I just pull up their draw here now, I think they win the minor. I kind of said that months ago now, but
Hmm.
it's looking like a pretty sure thing at this point. Because if you look at that draw, there's probably one or two close games in there. Apart from that, they're gonna win, and they're gonna win convincingly as well at GIO as well. Like I think that's
Hmm.
another massive thing. They got so many games at home, and Ricky's always getting them up for the home games. So yeah, I'm massive on the Raiders and massive on the run home. So yeah, someone like an Ethan Strange, I really like, and I know people are sort of shopping around at for 5/8 this week, and you got your what you got your JCs, you got Ezra, you got. Tanner Boyd. So there's a couple sort of options out there, a couple pods, and Ethan Strange is my pod I've gone with there. You've got Burden, so
Hmm.
everyone you can kind of pick your own poison there. But yeah, with the Raiders run home, I really like Ethan Strange, and hopefully he can average 70 plus from here on out. I can honestly see it. So fingers crossed there. And then yeah, for the Eels, Lomax is just yeah, so good. Gets it done every week. He's just the offload and the base and the tackle bus is just he's just so good at doing that and he's just so damaging, especially out of his own end. And he also has that potential with those bombs and sort of being a target in the air and he gets sort of tries that way potentially as well. So yeah, definitely can't knock the buy and someone I'm definitely interested in looking at for moving on Lucas. But yeah, in this one, I think the Raiders by 20 plus, mate.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, mate. Harding.
Moving on to the Doggies and the Dragons, mate. What are your thoughts here?
Thoughts here. I captained Kraz obviously last week, and I'm gonna back him in again this week. I think the Dogs put a score on, although he is on the less, I guess, the stronger defensive edge of the Dragons. We saw Tupou, who have got last weekend, score 2 tries on Sloan on the left-hand side. So obviously, there's a bit of a caveat there. Running at Finau is not the worst though. I think Dogs go well this week, and I think they put a bit of a score on the Dragons in this grudge match. I'm going to say Dogs by 14 points. Galvin at 7 is very interesting over Sexton. So hopefully that means good things for Birdo. Bit more control over the side, bit more roaming from him. Um, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they go with that sort of switch up there. And for the Dragons, not too much interest. Holmes, I guess, is our only real relevant player. But I don't know if I would be buying this week against the Dogs, and he's also up against Critter, who's probably the best defensive center in the game. So I'm not sure I'm a fan of that buy there, but yeah, not too much else in this one. Dogs by about 14.
Yeah, mate, fair enough. And I think the main talking point from this is Galvin and how the Doggies sort of play with him in the squad. We've seen him a couple times in the squad and it really hasn't gelled. So it's a massive call drop in Toby Sexton. He obviously led him to victory last week in a pretty big win against the Cows in a very gritty 8-12 sort of win there. So it will be interesting to see how it unfolds. I think it does. I agree. I think it does mean better things for that sort of left edge with Cacao and Burden. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But I do think hopefully Galvin throws a few balls out to Kraz. So I don't mind that as a captaincy shout there. But the Dragons just always seem to never be an easy beat. So I do think they'll be in this
Mm.
game. So I think the Doggies by 4, but I think it entirely depends on Lockie Galvin and that situation. I agree. Holmes isn't an ideal matchup this week because he's up against Critter, but he's actually got a hard run home, but he's someone like Lomax that just gets it done every week. So those two are sort of the best two options. A lot of people have Garrick, Karaz, and Herbie. I know Lomax is now 80% owned in the top 1%. So that's just sort of top four, top five, and then you can go to your sixth. Like then it sort of can go when your pods, they're your top Oz, your sort of gagai sort of thing. So there's sort of pods out there, but those two are sort of your top elite levels there. But yeah, in this game, mate, I got the doggies by 4.
Yeah, like it, mate. Geez, I just had a look then. Lomax is actually less owned than Mark, which is interesting.
How much
Yeah,
is Mark? They're both like 80 something percent, aren't they?
nah, Mark's 75 with 2.5% selling, and then Lomax is 72.5 with 13.5% getting him in. So he was like sub 60 percent before this week, but he's one of the most popular trade-ins this week.
Yeah, looks like, well, I think it's pretty clear. If you have Lucas, that's one of your clear options in center. And then I'm assuming the other one will be Hunter Young, yeah, most brought in. So yeah, I think those are your very clear. If you've got the money in the bank, your very clear options. I would be going for Lucas to Lomax in center wing or Lucas to Hunter Young.
Mm.
That's just your no-brainer sort of lock and gun sort of upgrades there. But moving on to our next game, we got the Storm and the Eagles, mate. Big talking point here. No Pappy. So Nick Meaney, he keeps the fullback goalkeeping jersey again. And I think it's really going to be interesting to see how this whole Pap injury develops. It's come out today. He should be back next week, but does he kick? And so hopefully, I hope Pappy does. I think he does get the kicking back at some point, but for the next couple of weeks, I think Meany is still an excellent option. Again, someone you can't probably buy now. It's a week or 2 weeks too late. You had to buy when I bought him, but yeah, great things again for him at fullback in a matchup where I think they're going to flog the Sea Eagles. I think the Sea Eagles are going to be found out this game. I don't know how it would pan out, but yeah, I have the Storm in this. I think Husey will have a pretty good game as well here. So yeah, Storm at Amy Park on a Saturday night. I got Storm by 14, 16.
Fair enough, mate. I yeah, hugely disagree with the Storm will flog Manly in this. I think Manly will be up for it. This is sort of one of the bogey teams of Melbourne historically. Um, I think Pap out is a huge is quite a big loss for them. Obviously, they've won their last two games without him, but we saw that Melbourne against a absolutely rubbish night side last week, and at least in the first half, didn't look that great. The week before, they didn't look too convincing either. And I think with Manly coming off the bye, they'll be freshened up, and they need to win this game. I really do think it's going to be close. I'm very, very tempted to even tip them. But I think it's going to be like a very close affair. 2 to 4 points. Storm win would be my what I say. I don't think it will be a hiding, even though it is at Amy Park. Yeah, I do like Manly's side and talent on paper. Um, but yeah, that's sort of my take on it. Obviously, it's great for you having Meany in this one. It's been a great purchase for you. But yeah, I'll be interesting to see how they like Munster coming back and Hughes coming back. But I just think their backline doesn't look
And
as
Grant
strong.
as well. Like
Yeah,
that, it's it'll
that's
be a
it.
good
But
game. Good
yeah,
game for
Manly.
Saturday night.
Yeah, definitely. I don't. I haven't lost faith in Manly. I'll just put it that way. I think they'll they'll show up in this one. It'll be a tight game.
I'll do a 10 pack.
10 pack, 1 to 12.
That you think what's the Storm line? What do you want to do?
Storm line. I'll have a look now.
I reckon 8 points I'll do. I wouldn't do 12, but I'd do 8. I'll give
Lions
you a try.
9.5, lad.
Yeah, all right. I'll do 9.5.
Easy. All right, 9.5. Done.
Beauty. All right. So couple 10 pack bets going around this weekend.
Sweet, mate.
Um, Let us know again in the comments, guys, your thoughts. I want to see a few more comments this week. We got bloody 0 last week. So if you're still listening, just comment to let us know you're still listening, hey? Moving on to our Sunday games, we'll just breeze through them quickly. Tigers versus the Titans, mate. What are you thinking here?
Not much. Two horror sides that won't be a very good watch at all in this one. Sorry, mate, about your Tigers, but obviously it'll be decent watching Taylor May back on the field again. Don't know how I feel about him playing footy again after he committed DV against his wife, but it just seems like the NRL let any thug on the street play any these days with guys like Ezra Mam also playing, and there's many more of them. Matt Lodge. But yeah, not yeah. I don't know how I feel about that. Like I think Taylor shouldn't be allowed to play for his career, but I feel that way about many players. So that's how that is. I tipping wise in this one, gonna go the Titans actually for now. Um,
10 pack.
Subject to change. Subject to change. Not that confident in it, mate. Just gonna back the Titans in though. I think they just got a bit more quality in their side, but Tigers obviously at Leichhardt Oval is like a bit of an advantage for them. I do like the Dewey move to lock as well. He looked unreal there last week. In terms of Supercoach though, Tino and May, not much else interest outside of that. Jaden Campbell, I guess, for a few. Um, that's really all from me. Not much else to say.
What's the Titans line?
Um,
How many do they have? 6.5, I reckon, or 7.5, probably, or 5.5.
4.5 the line.
There you go. I'll do that. Case, not
I have
case,
a
10
think
pack.
about. Yeah, I have a think about it.
Jeez, he's confident on Titans. Jeez.
No,
Back it
like I
in,
said,
mate. I'm so confident on Tiggs this game. You said it'll be a bad game. I reckon this is going to be such a good game to watch. I reckon there's going to be heaps of points. I reckon it'll be free flowing footy, and I think Tigers at home at Leichhardt. You mentioned May, obviously. Yeah, my personal views, I probably agree with you. He probably shouldn't be playing, but the NRL rules are there. It's the no fault policy. She's obviously dropped the charges, so in the NRL's eyes, I guess, play on there. But I think it's a massive story, and it's a redemption story as well. So if he can kind of just turn that into just fire in his belly to, I think those brothers, we've got so many brothers at the Tigers. We've obviously got the Fainu brothers, and now we've got the May brothers and also the Lualiti brothers. I just think there's a real good culture building, and yeah. I think that they're both going to be on for massive games this weekend. He scored a hat trick in 9 minutes on the weekend. I don't know if that was last weekend or the weekend before, but yeah, he's been playing pretty good footy, and yeah, I'm keen to see him back in the NRL because it was only a couple years ago he was a prodigy, the next New South Wales best thing. So yeah, keen to see him back playing NRL again there, mate. And yeah, very confident Tigers in this, and yeah, happy to take a Tigers line bet with you any day, mate.
yeah. Well, you weren't last weekend, mate, against the Warriors. You
No,
turned,
well,
yeah, you
wasn't
turned my
confident,
offer
but
down
I am
there.
this week.
Yeah,
Tigers
fair
at
enough.
home at Leichhardt. We get it done.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I'm a bit 50-50 on this one. On this tip, as I said, before, I'm leaning towards Titans for now. But yeah, I'm not sure which way I'll swing on this tip. Yeah, it'll be sort of a game time decision, seeing how my week of tipping's gone, and then if it's I need to make up a bit of ground from third place in our 50-man comp, then I will yeah, tip an upset.
Fair enough, mate. Moving on to the last game of the week, Knights was, and from Supercoach perspective, I don't think really much is
Nothing.
happening. Maybe Tanner Boyd. I don't mind you. You shouted it out last week as a buy. Look,
No.
you can't. I don't. I
Yeah.
think it's just really not worth the trades at this unless it does something for you. But yeah, I can't knock the ball. I don't mind it again, like
Yeah.
330k goal kicking half. But yeah, he's about the only one I'm interested in. Also, actually, Dane Gagai at fullback,
Yeah.
especially if he's fullback for the run home. I like him. And if Jackson Hastings was to get dropped, he'd also be goal kicking. So he'd be a goal kicking fullback for the Knights. But they obviously got a tough draw home. So that's your
There's
way
no
up. And they obviously
quality.
suck as well. So
Yeah.
that's the other eye up. But yeah, a bit of head noise going around for the Knights this week. So I think the Wars win this and they win it pretty comfortably. Wars by
Yeah.
12.
Yeah, I'm tipping the Wires in this as well. Yeah, I definitely do think like from the Warriors standpoint, Tanner Boyd's a decent. He's like probably the best downgrade option if you just want to one with 1.6 and free up some cash and make some other moves. I do like that move. Depends who you have though. I wouldn't be buying an Aaron Clark, for example. I'd be chasing it more upside in my second row or front row, or going a bit more pod. Like players such as like in Nakora with a great run, who's been looking phenomenal. I'd prefer much over him at about the same price. For example, for the Knights, yeah, Gagai is really the only one you can be interested in. Um, I guess this is very, very shot in the dark stuff, but Brody Jones probably now has that left edge spot. He's got dual and he's only 300k. I think him and Charlie Geimer, who we didn't really touch on, are decent,
Oh,
decent.
Geimer.
Yeah.
I was going to touch on it at the start of the pod. You mentioned like moving on Deadwood. I think I only moved him on last week or the week before, and he's done a bloody 85. I couldn't
Got,
believe it, and he looks to be starting for the rest of the season now. So
yeah.
I knew he had the potential. It's just you bloody bastard. He's done it
Yeah.
the week I sold or the couple of weeks after I sold, but I don't have the trades to move him on anyway, so I'd be stuck with him regardless. But yeah, good on you for your Geimer owners out there. I'm cheering you on.
Yeah. He's definitely he's such a good Supercoach player, and that yeah, he was highly touted, and he has been, and he was in most people's round one sides because he has that game. He got like almost 70 in base, so he is a very good player, and if you've held him, good, yeah, very well done. He's going to be some great depth for you moving down the stretch. Yeah, nothing else really there, mate. I think that sort of wraps us up.
That does, mate. That takes us over to trades and skippers for the week. So the bit going on for me. So I've obviously got 4 trades, but I'm looking to use 1 or 2 trades this week. So what I can do is LKT to Hughes. I can do that in 1 trade and I can just do that. But I don't actually need reserves or options like that this week. So I'll make my side first. So we'll optimize it and we'll fix it up. So the VC and we'll go C on Meany. We'll go Strange for now. So yeah, Brayley starting hooker. Very happy to start Tino this week. I think he's going to be, yeah, good to go for the run home. Kolomatangi is going to be interesting. His form kind of dropped off the last couple. He's had a week off now, so hopefully he's back to his best. But yeah, one to watch there. Connor Watson and Kikau. I would be playing Kikau. I do want to be playing AFB Munster there as well. And I think it's Naff White if I don't make trades. So yeah, this is how I would be lining up if I don't sort of make trades. So more than like I got set 18, 19, 20. I got 20, but don't want to play LKT or Bradley. Also, I don't have to move really. Like I could just hold trades, but Lucas is gone for the season and I want to move on LKT. So it's very dependent on what I do. So
You have to move on LKT this week. What's his break even?
no, I don't have to. It's 76, but I've got so much money in the bank, it doesn't really matter. It's just
Mm.
more so who I want to bring in. And because I've only got 4 trades, this is who I'm going to be setting the year with. So
Mm.
yeah, it's one I'm not entirely certain on. So one trade I really don't mind is just doing Lucas to Lomax. That does use up however much of my budget. I still got 250k in the bank, so that gives me 250k in the bank next week to have a plan with LKT to clear it. It'll mean I'll have to do another trade, so not. I suppose it will all unfold for me. It's like Naff White, but now I'm playing Naff White over To'o, or sorry, over Lomax, which I don't mind. So yeah, like couple sort of options. Another option, like I've also eyed up Fogarty. I think, as I mentioned, the Raiders have a really good run home, and someone's got to kick and get all the assists for the Knights. And Fogarty has had a couple big scores this year and a very decent average. So if you look at the halfback position, you see obviously Cleary with a 76 average, but Heinze's on a 74 average. So there's what, 2 points in that, and then Hughesy's got a 70-point average. But then again, judging by the 3 and 5 round averages, Hughesy's definitely brought that up recently. So he's been in form. So it's very open. And then you see obviously Tanner Boyd, Isaiah Katoa, Fogarty. It does kind of drop down, but there are a couple options there. So look, I'm not certain on what I'm doing this week. There's thoughts of a Hughes, thoughts of even doing Lucas out as well as Naf White out, flicking Bradley up, and then bringing in Valentine Holmes as well. I really want to keep Karapani for the run home. I would rather sell Naf White over him, and that also gives me 112K in the bank to potentially move on Pappenhausen to Cleary next week, depending on how that all unfolds. So, look, I love the look of that center wing. I really do. But again, that's two trades, and I don't really have trades. And yeah, but that center wing is just elite. So yeah, look, couple options going round. Lucas is gonna go, and it's just who else goes. It's most likely gonna be LKT, but I could just hold as well. So yeah, couple options playing up there, mate. What do you think? What grabs your eye?
Oh, the 100% LKT taking up a halfback spot is um, not what you want at this point of the season. I think. I think he's got to go. I know Cleary's not playing. That just got to toss up if you want Hughes or whatever you want. But I would be making a plan around selling him. He's no good. He's just deadwood in the side. He's gonna with 76 bit break even. Not gonna do any good. You're never gonna want to play him. You're just gonna bleed money from him. So you may as well just cash in however you can on him. That's my take on it. My other, and then obviously Lucas, you have to trade. Those are definitely your best two trade outs. It's just who you trade in. Obviously, trading in Cleary, like, is that like he's not playing, but obviously that's a little more of a long-term play. Um, as a, like as you said, mate, you just gotta back your gut. I'm huge on Cleary, and the Panthers. But sound by the sounds of when we were talking about halfback earlier, you're a bit unsure about Cleary, or less sure on him. But yeah, just gonna make that sort of call. Hughes is a solid option. But yeah, I think King Tonga is
Who
not
do you
someone you
think
want to hold.
scores more on the run home? Hughes, Hines, Cleary from now, total points.
I don't even think it's close. Like I think it's Cleary 100%. He's averaged this year. He's like 10 point gap. You take out the injury games, he's miles above the quality of those guys. And at least in these next 2 weeks, like I couldn't do it to myself. I couldn't watch Cleary
He does
play.
have these injury games though, and he is carrying an injury. Like there's just so much
Yeah, he does.
uncertainty around him, and like does he even kick? Like yeah, a couple questions definitely in the air there.
Yeah, fair enough, mate. That's why he is only like 10% owned. So I'm happy to. Yeah, I'm not in that seat where I have to think about trading him in. That's part of the reason I held him. But yeah, I couldn't be. Obviously, I held him because I am big on him, and I am huge on him and the run home and Panthers altogether. So I really love To'o and Edwards as well, which we'll get to soon.
Yeah. I do like that. Like I can just do that trade, but as you mentioned, there's just no point bringing in Cleary this week. Um, So yeah, one I will be pondering, ladies and gentlemen. Well, it's actually only gentlemen. I looked at our stats, and 100% of our viewers are male. So the
Jeez,
lads, the lads are
what's
getting around us, and I
what's
think
Sally doing?
98%. Yeah, none of them are listening, mate. 98%
Jeez,
are Australia. We got 1% from New Zealand and one from the States as well. So a few demographic figures going around for you listeners still
that's no
listening.
good. I'll have to bring that up with the
With the
missus later
missus,
on.
yeah, the
Yeah,
top dog,
it's
yeah, no good.
disappointing. She
We
tells
need
me
the
she watches,
views.
and it's all a farce. Eh?
We need the bloody views, mate. We need the bloody views.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, most likely, I think at this point in time, my trade is just going to be Lucas to Lomax. As you mentioned, the trades will kind of just appear for me. I'm sure there will be more carnage, and like I think the Cleary to LKT trade will just I'll find a way somehow due to carnage, like we saw just on the weekend. Lucas is out, so now there's my sort of Lomax route, or there's this sort of Huddy Young route. I also like the Naf White to Huddy Young trade, but I just don't have the trades for that. So yeah, if I traded in Lomax for White for Lucas, this would be how I'd be lining up this week. So pretty pretty happy with the side now. It's really just going to come down to sit starts. Like I could not play Watson depending like Naf White could be a goer. Depending if I bring in Husey or what I do at halfback as well. So yeah, couple options to unfold that I got to decide soon. But I think it's going to be VC Herbie, and then depending on that game, we'll decide my week. If he goes nuts and I loop, I won't even bother even trading possibly. I might just hold them all and let it all unfold another week. So yeah, a lot to unfold there, mate. But yeah, and then yeah, VC Herbie and C at this point is Strange or Meany, potentially Heinzie as well, and Terrell May. So those are the four I sort of like most. But yeah, that's my trades and plans for the week, mate. How about you?
Awesome. I'll share my screen now and we'll quickly get to that. You see this all good? Should I
All
zoom
good,
in a
mate.
bit? Yep.
Yeah, zoom in a little bit.
Is that fine?
Yeah, beauty.
A bit more. Um, so this is my side sort of pre-trades, I guess. As you can see, I've only got 8K in the bank, and I've got 6 trades left. So I'm very particular about who I'm trading in. This is how it sort of looks. I've got Watson at hooker, May, and then I've held Tarpany, which I'm pretty happy with, and I'm hoping he can sort of regain some form for me against the Eels this week, who have a pretty weak pack. Obviously with Haas out as well. Eli Katoa, Kalamatangi, Nakora, Tino. I've got the Lucas injury up here. Hughes, Burden, Munster, Herbie, Garrick, Lomax, Carraz, Tupou, Ronaldo, Drinkwater, Tedesco. So pretty solid 17 or 18, sorry, pre-trades. Like I don't really see any issues with playing any of these guys. Probably Tupou would be the one I'd be most concerned about, but someone has to drop out, and Tupou could very easily just score a try this weekend and we saw how good he looked, or how much better he looked with Sam Walker on the left side too. So looked a lot better with him on the side in the side. So yeah, that's how the side will line up. I'm definitely locked into having something on Carraz. I'm just a bit pissed off about about last week when I captained him, so I'm going to double down on him. It's either going to be the other captaincy will either be Drinkwater or a Terrell May at this stage, I think, for me. That's pretty much the side. In terms of trades, not really looking at. Um, there's only 2 people I'm interested in this week and 2 trades I'm interested in. I'm either going to do no trades, do 1 trade, or hold both, or do 2 trades. And so the trades are Lucas to To'o and Pappy to Edwards. Those would be the 2 trades, and they're the only 2 trades I've thought about. So I'm either going to do one or both or none of those trades. Undecided yet on how I feel about it. That's simple as that, really. With my side, I kind of got a feeling about Ronaldo breaking his streak this week. Hence, like I wouldn't be too disappointed with playing him. And also you got the luxury this year of having a low score dropout, which obviously Ronaldo is very capable of dropping a 20-point game. But the rest of the side's quite solid where I think I can take that risk. So yeah, just unsure on like I know the players I want. I'm just unsure if I pull the trigger now, given the position I am in with trades and still able to field a fairly solid 18 players, really. Yeah, thoughts there, mate?
Yeah, just looking. Can you flick up Tino or Colo to your front row?
No,
No.
no.
All right. Yeah, like I would be moving Lucas on. You're gonna use one of your 6 trades on him anyway, so the sooner you sell him, the more you get out of that trade. It's just who to. Yeah,
Yeah,
look
that's
in one trade, like I do really like the Lucas to Huddy Young trade. I think it's an absolute no-brainer if you've got the
mm.
money in the bank. And with the Raiders run home, I think you could just lock in Huddy Young because he's such a pod as well. So I really like that trade. But yeah, for someone in your position who can't, uh, I don't know, yeah, who I'd quite be going to.
Well, that's it. I don't like any of the options. I don't like the second row options. I don't want to toy around with like a kick out or Preston, any of those guys at all. If I am making the move, I'm flicking Bradley up and I'm going to To'o and getting him in. I'm pretty set on that. That's how it will look. It does make my second row quite weak. Like with only Ali
Mm.
Katoa, Kaloa Matangi, Nakora, and Tino there. So one injury there, and then I've got like I'm in a
Strife.
bit of strife. I've only got three players there, which I don't like. But I also don't like the second row forward options either. So my thinking is if I hold this week, I just wait for Carnage to hit and then I can reassess where I sort of sit with trades. But at this point, there's nothing clear. Like I want Luke, as I said, I'm huge on the Panthers. I like Edwards and I like To'o as buys with their run. I just don't know if it's worth burning the trades from this week at least for me. Like I think I can just firmly hold, see how it plays out, and then I've got plenty of avenues to cash if either of those guys, like Edwards, for example, has got a low break even, pop off and they look really good. I can just go Sandon down and get it Edwards in if I wanted to. So I'm pretty content with just holding trades, I think, this week. Although I am huge on Toto and Edwards, which makes it hard. If I had two extra trades, I would do the move, but I really don't want to go down to four trades at this stage. I don't think so. I think I might just hold off, but I'm very undecided. Those are the only moves I'm looking at, Toa and Edwards, and I just don't know if I'll go one of or both of or none of this week. That's pretty much it
Geez,
for
you
me.
could go Sandon to going and then upgrade Simpkins as well, or Lucas or whatever. Then you have a bunch of cash if
Yeah,
you
I
wanted to
just
sort
don't.
trades
Yeah, I'm sort of saving sand in there as like a get out. Um, I guess.
as a trophy.
Yeah, yeah, that's it, mate. He's the team mascot. No, I'm just sitting him there because I'm happy to have him there. I don't think it's worth burning a trade on downgrades at this point of the season for guys that are enough. So I've already got Royce Hunt, Simpkins, and um, Bradley there. Really, I don't want another one. So he's Sandon's going to sit there as a bit of extra cash if I need it. I will use the trade, but I'm going to try to hold on to this for as long as I can. Just given I only have six trades, and I really don't want to. I've got Cleary to come back, Pappenhausen hopefully to come back as well. Haas to come back too. So the side's looking deep anyway. I don't really need to make moves. I can just sit, start, and then trade on a week that really I am struggling and it does warrant it. But I just don't think this is one of those weeks for me. It is playing a bit more passive though. But I think when you only have these amount of trades left, you sort of have to. I don't want to be um, treading on thin ice.
You already are,
Really.
mate. Just play on.
Yeah, I am, but that's the only way it sort of derails. Like I can see myself dropping out of the top 1K if I burn all my trades and then I get hit with carnage in the back end. So
But once you deal with Lucas and Sandon, I think those are your clear points you have to deal with. You don't have to deal with anything but injuries.
no, but I think I don't have to deal with them right now because my 18 that I'm fielding is fine. So I'll just keep playing on until I actually have to deal with them. I don't think see any issue with playing this side this week, so I'll roll the trades into the next.
Fair enough, mate. This will be where people who have trades will be enjoying it, but how have they enjoyed the season? So best of luck to you, mate, there.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Like I think they were quite strong plays this week as well. Like the only one is Ronaldo and Tupa. I've got no idea what they could dish up, but I'm going to bank on one of them going well, and then the other one can just drop out.
Mm.
The rest of the side, I don't. I see Nakora going well as always. My whole second row. Tarpany should be solid, I think. Tino as well. Hughes,
See,
I think.
Tarpany, I reckon concerns. He's managed to being managed, managed. He's just done the head in, and I think that is also a little risk if you do buy Huddy Young, just the whole Ricky roulette, because
Hmm.
the Raiders are doing very, very well. They don't need to play their star guys. So if anyone's got anything, they're just going to take them off. And they're going to give these younger blokes like Owen Paddies and whatnot a lot more game time and experience, especially building into the finals to make sure they're all sort of full squad, no injuries, sort of thing there. So yeah, that's that is possibly something you might have to be cautious of if you're buying Huddy Young.
Hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree, mate. But I also think part of the reason I held Tapani is for this coverage, and he is a quality, one of the best front rowers in the comp. The minutes is the only concern, really, I guess. But he got 29 minutes last game and scored 46 still. So I think just hoping that he can play around 50 minutes and he should score close to 70 points, I think, which I'll take any day. Um, yeah, I'm pretty fine with him. I think he's safe, and the Eels pack's weak, so hopefully he can free the arm. But yeah, that's sort of my thinking on it. I might get a bit tempted before that Bunnies Penrith game though, and just all of a sudden trade in Edwards and trade in To'o. But I think for now, I might just hold, honestly. That's sort of where I'm sitting.
Fair enough there, mate.
That sort of wraps us up, I guess. Stop sharing my screen.
Beauty, yeah. So remember, guys, let us know your thoughts. We've had a couple of questions thrown out to the audience today. So yeah, let us know your thoughts there, and then yeah, give us a like and give us a subscribe if you're still listening or kicking on. And hopefully, we're both doing pretty well, both in the top 1%. So hopefully, both of us stay in the top 1%. You go for your top 100 finish, top 500 finish, and I maybe sneak into the top K. But with 4 trades and 6 trades, it'll be bloody hard. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out, mate.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Yeah, best of luck to everyone that listened, and yeah, best of luck to you too, Fish, for the weekend. And yeah, hopefully we can finish this, like, coming off the back of the bye period, finish off with what did I say? A wet sail.
The West Sail.
Come
We're coming
come
home with a
flying with
bang.
it.
We're
Yeah, that's it,
flying.
mate. That's
That's
it.
it. All right. Thanks, guys, for listening, and we'll see you guys next week.
Sweet. Thanks, guys. Cheers.